Ahoy hoy, I'm Planet Walk, and welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what stupidity does to brain cells. Now I'm standing in for FTFE today because NASA forgot to include legs on the latest FTFE clone, so he has to get the cybernetic enhancement legs. Anyway, today is episode 73 of Flerfs Are Idiots, where we take a look at a flat earther that I found over on TikTok because I think that's where they're all migrating to.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
So the flat earther that we're going to have a look at today is an Australian flat earther, meaning that they're just across the ditch from me, and I believe their name is Mark. Alright Mark, what have you got for us?
G'day everyone. Remember that planes all fly flat and level. They don't do nosedives, okay?
Well, of course they don't do nosedives, because that would be a recipe for just crashing into the globe.
Because if planes did nosedives, we'd all end up with blood noses. We would. And the plane's got to do a dive every 3 miles to keep its curve.
Okay, so we have yet another flat earther that just does not know how any of this works. So, the reason why planes don't need to do a nosedive all the time is because, well, planes need to keep a constant altitude. Now, one of the things involved in keeping a constant altitude is making sure that the plane doesn't fall down to Earth, because a plane that would fall down to Earth wouldn't be a good plane. Now, in order for a plane to do this, it has to fight against gravity, which is pulling it down. Now, the plane doesn't need to fight entirely against gravity, it just needs to fight it enough that it can maintain a constant altitude. And when you're maintaining a constant altitude, you don't have to do any nosedives, because it's a constant altitude. The only reason why you might have to do a nosedive would be if you're getting too high. But if you're traveling at a constant altitude, you don't get too high because it's a constant altitude.
So remember, planes all fly flat and level and only, like water finds the same flat surface.
Okay, so here's the thing, and I'm honestly tired of arguing this, but level doesn't mean flat. Level just means that there's no point higher than another. So yes, planes do fly level, but that doesn't mean that they fly flat. Unless it's a paper plane, you could maybe argue that that flies flat.
Perth Airport. Still got the sun in. G'day, how are you?
Wait, what was that? You all saw what I saw, right? I am sorry, I don't like making fun of people's looks. But sometimes people shouldn't have a camera pointed at them. I will give him some respect though, because I would be too self-conscious to appear on camera if I looked like he does.
If you know any, give them my number and send them my way.
I'm not sure. No, we're moving on.
Reason why they're going to lock us down in a climate lockdown because it's too hot or it keeps raining. Right, so they're going to lock us down to brainwash us that the government is our friend and they want to help us. So a lot of people will run to them like sheep, obviously, but the ones that are awake will know what's going on, like myself. I know what's going on.
Okay, so what exactly is a climate lockdown? Because it sounds kind of like the lockdowns that we had for COVID, but for climate change? If that's what it is, then they're not happening. It's just something that you decided to make up. And the thing is, they're not going to happen either, because lockdowns aren't exactly the greatest thing for the economy. And if you did try to use them to combat something like climate change, you would need to do them for a long time, which is really going to damage the economy. And as it would turn out, rich people don't really like when governments ruin the economy. Ruining your country's economy in a way that does not benefit Rupert Murdoch is a surefire way to anger Rupert Murdoch, so that is not something that you want to do.
You see, this climate change that the government's going on about, everyone, the government's backsides are twitching. It's because the ice Antarctica wall is melting.
Oh dear, that is terrifying, because that means all the water is going to flow off the edge of the Earth, and then there's just going to be none left.
And their lies are about to be exposed. Because we're going to start to see Eden Island, we're going to see Gemini Island, Capricorn Island, Aquarius Island. We're going to see new land that we were not told that did not exist.
Wait, how exactly do you expect to see this new land exactly? Because if I wanted to, I could take a trip down to Stewart Island, and there's something that you cannot see on Stewart Island, and that is Antarctica. So how exactly would we be able to see land beyond the ice wall if we can't even see the ice wall?
We don't live on a ball. Water finds its own level, and the same as aeroplanes. They don't do nosedives from the North Pole down to Australia, right? Imagine that being the North Pole, and the aeroplane's got to dive down over the North Pole, because it's a ball, and dive down to Australia, and then seem to just stop and not fall anymore.
Okay, south does not mean down. Down is simply towards the centre of the Earth, not towards the South Pole.
Now, if it wants to go back up, and it wants to go back up over to the North Pole, you're going to need a rocket to push you off. You know, a plane can't do that.
There is a reason why flat earthers are not taken seriously by anyone. And it's because of stupid shit like this. You see, I understood this stuff at 5 years old, so this guy doesn't even have a 5-year-old's understanding of the Earth. No wonder he thinks that we'll be able to see land beyond the ice wall if it melts, despite us not being able to, see this ice wall.
And the reason why they won't fly you from Perth, Western Australia, over to South Africa on an 11-hour flight, they need to fly you on a 48-hour flight. They need to fly you from Perth up to Dubai, then from Dubai down to South Africa as a triangle. They can't fly you from Perth to South Africa on an 11-hour flight straight direct when they can, but they won't. It's because you'll see the new land over the Antarctic wall.
What's that? But even if that flight didn't exist, he still wouldn't have a point, because what makes him think that he'd see the ice wall from Perth to South Africa? This is the Great Circle route from Perth to Johannesburg, and we can take a look at it on Google Maps as well, and we can see that it goes nowhere near Antarctica. But here's the thing, most flat earthers don't believe that the Great Circle route is the fastest way anyway. On the flat earth model, the fastest way to get from any place in the southern hemisphere to any other place in the southern hemisphere is to just avoid Antarctica.
They don't want you too close to it. That's why all governments going back in the early 1900s, before 1958, that NASA funded as a globe. There's only one photo of the globe, but there's hundreds of photos of a flat earth map. Hundreds
of photos of the flat earth. Show me one that isn't CGI, please. Here's the thing though, there are thousands, if not millions, of photos of the globe. Hundreds get taken every day.
Including a stone wall tablet in Egypt.
I'm sorry, but that is not a photo of the flat earth, that is just a stone tablet. But who knows, maybe you've confused an Android tablet with a stone tablet. We're dealing with flat earthers here, so you never really know.
Now, this history going back thousands of years ago doesn't lie.
Oh, do you mean like the history of humans thinking that the Earth was a globe for the last 2,000 years? That kind of history? You see, people thinking that the Earth is a globe is not a new thing. We've known it for thousands of years.
But man, human, woman, consciences, they do lie if they work for a government with make-believe money that was torn from a tree that happens to wipe our backsides as toilet paper.
Yes, governments lie. That does not mean that the Earth is flat, though.
When we switch over to digital currency, you do as you're told. We're going to be having social points like China. You mouth off the government, You can't make access to Coles or Woolworths for a week. So it means no iced coffee for a week until you shut your smart mouth and start praising the government.
Okay, so there's no evidence that anywhere outside of extremely authoritarian countries are going to implement some kind of social credit system. And besides, you live in Australia. If you criticise a politician and they're thin-skinned enough and don't like it, then they're just going to sue you. That has happened before. In reality, the government doesn't care too much about crazy people criticising it because they're crazy. People tend not to take them seriously. It also annoys me when people like this criticise the government simply because they're the government. Because yes, there are criticisms to be had of the government, but it's not because they're the government. It's because governments sometimes do bad things. And you know, if the government does bad things, call them out for that. You shouldn't have to just make up stuff that you think that the government is going to do to get angry at them about. If they were as bad and as evil as you say they are, you'd be able to say, okay, this is what they've done that is bad and evil. Alright, let's take a look at one more video from this guy.
That there's a 14 constellation system going over our 13 constellation system. Both of them constellation system both spin inside a 37 constellation system. So you got a 37 constellation system with a 14 constellation system spinning inside that 37 constellation system, and we are the 13 constellation system spinning inside the 14 constellation system. We orbit Nibiru.
What? I may have made a mistake when I said we should do one more. I didn't realise that flat earthers thought that the earth was spinning and orbiting Nibiru because I was always told that it was flat and stationary, but maybe by stationary they meant like a pencil.
Nibiru orbits us every 3,600 years, and it's in our sky today.
Oh really? That would have been fun to see. I didn't really see anybody talking about it, but weren't you just saying that we were orbiting Nibiru, but now Nibiru is orbiting us?
I was on my telescope in 2016 in Kincumber skies looking at the sun, and I found that. 4 suns in the sky. One exploded.
Really? There were 4 suns in the sky. Nobody noticed that. And also, nobody noticed that one of them decided to explode. Just a sun randomly exploding in the sky and nobody noticed a thing except for the sky.
And NASA said, whoever can find our rock will pay you $10 quadrillion for any amateur astronomer that can find this rock will pay you $10 quadrillion. So I got on my telescope and I started searching for it. And I found it. I found it, alright. It's a match.
Okay, so let me get this straight. NASA lost a rock and wanted the help of amateur astronomers to find it, and they were willing to pay a quadrillion billion dollary-doos or something? I really doubt any of that happened in any capacity whatsoever. And what's crazy is that you're a flat earther that was apparently looking for asteroids because NASA said so or something. I don't get what he's rambling on about, to be honest. His ramblings make less sense than a peacock carrying Aaron Ra into space to meet the Pope.
And NASA hijacked my video and deleted it after 4 years when it was on my YouTube channel. NASA deleted the video of that exploding next to the sun. That happened to be that.
Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that it wasn't the sun that exploded, it was NASA's rock that exploded. And apparently NASA deleted his video. Did you think to maybe back it up? Because if you have something like a flash drive or an external hard drive, you can use that to back up your content. That way, if your content gets removed from YouTube for whatever reason, you still have a copy. But I do suspect that it wasn't NASA who deleted your video. I suspect that your channel got taken down for violating YouTube's terms of service or something like that. In fact, I'm a little bit worried about this video actually getting taken down. Don't tell FTFE that I'm actually using his channel as a test to see if YouTube is okay with this guy's face being used in content.
Yeah, and NASA owes me $10 quadrillion, and my video was up on YouTube for 4 years, and when I started flogging it off, day after day, month after month, week after week, and kept on flogging off my photo, NASA clicked on and got my video deleted.
Okay, so here's a question. Why would NASA offer a whole lot of money if they're not going to pay anyone that money? Like, what is the point of it? Was a guy at NASA one day just like, you know what would be funny? What if we offered a whole lot of money if someone can photograph a rock that we can already photograph, but when they actually photograph it, we just don't pay them? It just makes no sense. Why would they do this? This video is also giving me vibes of a certain ex-Royal Navy sailor.
And they said that you work for us 24 hours, and they demanded all my work. They come and raided my house, they stole all my magnets, all my paperwork.
Is it just me, or are other people getting that vibe too?
That's how disgusting their behaviour was.
I am the perfect English gentleman. And the Royal Navy, in their pirating, scumbag attitude, committed treason.
You know, Mark and Nigel, they could be best friends. They do have a fair amount in common.
NASA owes me $10 quadrillion, and I'm not going to shut up about it, NASA, until you pay up.
So when I take this video off, I'm going to copy it to 20 microsims. I'll make sure China's got a copy. I'll make sure Russia's got a copy. And India and South Africa. They will make sure that the world finds out what the United Kingdom done to one man.
The more I watch of this, the more I realise that they're just the same. Mark, are you just Nigel Cheesy Hands in an elaborate disguise? It's okay to say if you are.
So I'll be the richest man on earth when NASA pays me my $10 quadrillion. Yeah.
So there is the possibility that this guy is joking. He could be playing into a stereotype of how flat earthers look. But the sad thing is that this could also be something that he legitimately believes. Because flat earthers often believe quite deluded things. You know, someone might have made up a website that said, oh, NASA is offering $10 quadrillion to whoever can photograph this thing, and he believed it. Hell, a few years back, I leaked a document on screen that said that YouTubers were getting paid by the director of Earth-shaped counterintelligence, and a lot of flat earthers actually believed it. But yeah, I think that is enough for today, so leave a like and subscribe if you like this video. Be sure to go over to my channel and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and that's a lot to get to, so hopefully I can get there. Also, leave a comment letting me know if you'd like me to make more content on this person over on my channel. This is a test run, we're not telling FTFE, remember? But anyway, I will see you over on my channel. Between you and me, thank you for watching.
Fight the flock, 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 fight the flock.